weather weenies. We have Category 2 Hurricane Raphael in the Gulf of Mexico right now that has a very interesting forecast to it and a lot of unknowns. Let's talk about what we know. So Hurricane Raphael is currently sitting south of Cuba. It's going to be moving northwesterly, and it could potentially be impacting Cuba as a major hurricane. It's sitting in Category 2 right now. Could possibly increase either on this side or this side because it's a very warm ocean in these areas and a very low wind shear environment. Forecast intensity showing sitting at Cat 2 right now. A couple models showing it getting stronger, but then afterwards generally weakening. And this will be good news once it enters the rest of the Gulf, because the forecast models are still very undecided about where this thing is going. So let's look at some opinions we trust here. This is the GFS forecast model, which shows it kind of stalling and then brushing the Louisiana coastline before kind of degrading and disappearing. The Euro model, on the other hand, shows it making a similar track, but instead of bumping into Louisiana, kind of hanging out here in the Gulf for a while before possibly contacting Mexico. Today's Wednesday, November 6th, and the next 48-hour forecast for this is pretty certain. All the models agree. It's what happens after that time frame that there's so much uncertainty. See, it's the possibility of like a mid-level ridge, a mid-level area of high pressure that could be building just to the north of this storm that would be right up in this area, and the storm would come up and basically kind of bounce off of it like a pinball. The storm could possibly reach major hurricane strength as it approaches Cuba or impacts Cuba, which would be Category 3 or greater. After it passes there, then this hurricane is moving into a much less favorable environment. A lot more wind shear, drier air, and colder sea surface temperatures. If I had to hedge my bets on where this storm is going to go, I would say it's not going to be the GFS solution that impacts Louisiana. It's going to be more of the one that heads to the southwest. And my main reason for thinking that is because the graph model, which is one that I've come to really like and respect, does a really good job, high resolution, forecasts really well, shows this storm staying to the south and making that southwest turn. If you are Gulf Coast United States, there's nothing really I think you need to do right now. I would just be aware that this is out there and that the forecast models could change. But if it did make landfall in any of these areas, it would be more along the lines of tropical storm strength. If you want to find a piece of, happy news about this storm, is that if it does stay in the Gulf for a long time and do its whole stormy thing while it slowly traverses the entire Gulf, it's going to churn up the waters. And so you're not going to have the warmer sea surface temperatures up at the top. And that could kind of be the last thing that really puts the 2024 hurricane season to a close, at least for the Gulf states. It's still been a wild year.